I now call this meeting of the Blythewood Planning Commission to order. On behalf of the commission, I'd like to welcome all of our guests. This is a surprising number, but happy to see you all. Resident stakeholders, those watching via our live stream, thank you for your continued interest in the responsible development and planning of our community. The secretary, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Katasha Hysynthia, Travis Smith, Nikki Schaffner,
Present.
Marcus Taylor,
Here.
Al McClern, Jamal Mosley,
Present.
Bill Tomes.
Here. All right, a quorum is present. And proper notification of this meeting has been made in accordance with the laws, and the agenda was posted on the town website.
Yes, sir, it was, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Would all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting held on 3 February 2025. Commissioners, you've all received a copy of the minutes?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Are there any corrections or amendments? All right.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
We have a motion and a second to accept the minutes as presented. All right. We'll now, if we have a motion, is there a motion for us to go into executive session?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Hold on, I'm sorry. Can we complete the vote for the motion of the approval of the minutes, please?
My apologies.
You're okay.
All right, can we get, so we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the February 3rd meeting. Let's go ahead and take a vote to approve those. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
No problem. So item 2 is executive session. And this executive session is regarding 2 Blue Stallions LLC at our Planning Commission and the Boney Road Tract, TMS number Romeo 15200-03-07. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make the motion to go.
Second. All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Do we need to vote on this as well?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Chair, and if you would like to invite Mr. Wilson into the meeting for the first item for executive session, I would just suggest
That's a motion that I can make?
It's not even a motion, just
Okay.
once executive session is approved by motion, then you can invite Mr. Wilson into the executive session along with me.
Roger that.
Yes,
I
sir.
would like to invite both of you to executive session. Attorney Balthazar, you for both, and Mr. Wilson, you for the 2 Blue Stallions LLC portion.
Yes, sir, that's correct. I will be removing myself after that first item.
No problem. All right, commissioners, you want to do vote by roll call, or is aye, nay? Or fine?
The ayes or nays would be fine.
All
That's
right.
fine.
All in motion, all in favor of going into executive session, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
And Mr. Chair, I just wanted to I know we have a big crowd tonight, so we are going to an executive session. We do not anticipate being longer than 15, 20 minutes. I understand everybody's eager to get to the action item, but like I said, it shouldn't be more than 15 minutes, and we'll be back in here. So thank you for your patience.
And Mr. McLaren, Commissioner McLaren should be on his way. We have the vote. He's welcome to come join us at executive session when he makes his way in.
Okay, I will have somebody let him know when he comes in.
Roger that. Thank you. Once again, thank you for your patience. All right. Can I get a motion? Oh, no problem. Staring at this map. I get a motion on the floor to return from executive session.
I'd like to make the motion to return from executive session.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor of returning from executive session, signify your vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, with that, we'll now move to our action items. When it comes to the action items, I ask that we proceed with respectful dialogue following our parliamentary procedures. Commissioners, as we address each item, please wait to be recognized before speaking. Action item alpha is the subdivision sketch plan for Boney Road Tract, TMS Romeo 15200-03-07. Is the applicant here today? Yes. All right, I want to give the applicant 10 minutes to present. You have a, okay.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, Commission. Thank you for your time. My name is Luke Boatwright. I'm a director of land acquisition for Stanley Martin Homes. I also have some representatives from the REIT company who have assisted us with engineering this project. We're very excited about the opportunity to present to you this 84-lot by right zoning proposal for project off of Boney Road. Some of the key highlights that I think would be worth noting that may answer some of the upcoming questions from later on this evening is what our proposed product is going to be in here as well. As you can see, we have
Right.
The product that we're proposing to come in here with is what we refer to internally as our second move-up product. It's more of a high-end, executive level type home that we're targeting for that buyer. That buyer price point is going to be in the high 300s, probably reaching close to $500,000. And as pricing has been historically over the last few years, none of that pricing is coming down. I can only see that going up from what building costs and other items maintain to be. And we sent some product pictures to Kirk to be included. What we have intended as of right now would be hardy plank style siding with brick or stone accents. This is very common and becoming more and more popular as buyer profiles have changed. The industry in general is kind of going away from all brick. That doesn't mean by the time this opens that couldn't change, but as of right now we're targeting a more high-end hardy style painted siding with brick and stone accents you can see in some of the pictures. Our intention is to gate the entrance off of Boney Road. We feel that with the lack of area on the parcel as far as additional amenities and the limited number of homes on the inside the project, that the main amenity that we plan on delivering to the eventual home buyer is the safety and security of having a gated entrance off of Boney Road. This project will have a standalone HOA that will incorporate the entire parcel. That's going to be standard with most HOAs that we have in all of our neighborhoods, following any local city and county ordinances, as well as our standard HOA regulation that we have in all of our neighborhoods. Welcome any questions that the commission may have, either for myself or the engineers as it comes to the site plan itself.
Okay.
What is the range of square foot of the houses?
I think the smallest house with the least amount of bedroom options is going to be close to 2,800, and it'll go all the way up to probably about 4,500 square feet.
And from what I see here, I see the gated entrance on Boney Road, but there is, the only other entryway I see is here in the back of Oakhurst. Is that correct?
Correct, yes, sir. There are some lots that come to it first.
What is the red dashed area in the middle? Is that high ground, low ground?
That is
Why is it?
low ground wetlands that's dashed in the middle.
Yes, in the creek.
And the decision was to come through Oakhurst instead of trying to build across that?
Correct. And building across wetlands is just an added cost, and we have the ability to public roads, that's why we're tying into those there.
Okay. Are there any further questions from the commission at this time? If not, I would like to give staff, Mr. Wilson, 5 minutes to brief us on what he has regarding this action item. You have a question? All right. We'll have time at the end. Okay. Mr. Wilson?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So, as Commissioners, as you saw my memo in the packet here, I'm not going to repeat myself. Again, 84 single-family lots. The property is about 40 acres, roughly. Again, it is going to be an R8 zoning district. The applicant chose to come now as opposed to waiting in 3 months for the new LDO to get approved. They wanted to go ahead and try and get this project on the books. So they were in a unique they had a unique opportunity to apply now or wait in 3 months and apply under the new LDO. As they did mention, the new LDO would actually allow them a higher density, which allowed them to try and get a few more lots in there. But as I was told, the timing of it was they wanted to go ahead and submit now, but they were okay sacrificing a little density to go ahead and get the project going. I do want to note, obviously we did have discussions back and forth with the applicant. A couple things that we had mentioned to the applicant that we would like to see is 4-foot sidewalks throughout the entirety of the project. That does include the 17 lots that are, if you want to say, on the Oakhurst side. In addition to that, like I said, one of the questions I had posed on the memo, which they already answered, I posed a question is the subdivision going to be gated? As the applicant just stated that the subdivision is going to be gated. Now, will there be a gate at the Oakhurst entrance? I believe the answer is no to that. Is that correct? Okay. So they will have a gate on Boney Road. There will not be a gate in the Oakhurst neighborhood cordoning off essentially these 17 homes from Oakhurst. Additionally, we would like to see the neighborhood signage and lighting, and that is something that we can check at a staff level. But we have had discussions with the applicant about that. Additionally, there was a traffic study done. Some of the points that I pulled out of that traffic study. A single lane entering into the site is assumed to receive all turning movements from the major street, which in this case is Boney Road. There are no major updates that the traffic study is suggesting to take place. Again, this is 84 homes. As I put here in the memo, based on the review of the AM and PM traffic volumes from existing plus site-generated conditions, a separate major street auxiliary southbound being in a left turn lane is not required. And I'm happy to answer any additional questions that the commission may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Get my stuff back together here. We will have open citizens' comments at the end, but are there any members of the public that wish to speak on this action item while we have it open? If you would like to speak, I can give you 2 minutes each, and then I can have the developer come back up to address any of those concerns. Does anyone have comments? I see one hand in the back. You can come up. When you do come up, please. Oh,
There's a list.
oh yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. You gonna call them from there? Or can I get that person?
We want them to come to the microphone.
Yeah, yeah. So folks, when you do come up, you'll come to the microphone here. Ensure that the microphone is on so that you can be heard. You have 2 minutes. Start by stating your name and where you live.
And sorry, Mr. Commissioner, if we can let this gentleman speak, and then I think it'll just be easier if I just go down the list.
No problem.
Okay,
No
okay.
problem.
Sir, yeah, please state your name, your address, and then you may proceed with what you want to say.
Turn it on.
It should still be on.
There you go.
How y'all doing? My name is Stanley Livingston, and my address is 388 Blythe Creek. I'm right in that community off of Boney. And the only concern I have about this project, it comes in the form of a question really is, with this new infrastructure, will the applicant, as you guys refer to them, be doing anything to help Boney Road's infrastructure to support the increased traffic as a result of this new project? Because those of us who have stayed there, I myself for 10 years and many others much longer, the small little road known as Boney is very, very fragile, as we know. It struggles to maintain itself as we drive on it every day. A strong rain, heavy winds, and then we have a washed out road and infrastructure issues falling on the thing, so the issue keeps growing. And so my concern again is, what will the applicant do, if anything, to help support the strength and the traffic of that road when they come to the community?
Thank you, Mr. Livingston.
Okay, Mr. Commissioner. Commissioner Mosley, do you mind if I just call out in order the
Not
names
at all, sir.
on the sign-in sheet?
Not at all.
Okay, Chris and Cindy Scholl.
I think I exchanged voicemails with you. I'm going to read 2 letters from my neighbors who couldn't be here, if that's okay. I can share the letters.
Yeah, that's fine. We because of the volume of people here, we are going to limit each person to 2 minutes. So Mr. Scholl, if you would like to speak, and then Ms. Scholl, you can do that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Chris Scholl. I live at 6 Cross Ridge Court, Blythewood, in Oakhurst subdivision, where I've lived for the last 22 years. I think that would actually make me an old timer at this point compared to most people in Blythewood. I've been a real estate broker and developer for the last 25 years, so I've got quite a bit of experience with what we're dealing with here. In regard only to the lots with access through the entrance of Oakhurst, that's the 17 homes, that's all I'm talking about, not the rest of them. I have a few concerns. Number one, the zoning not being like kind, being R8 versus R20, which is every other home that if you drive through the entrance of Oakhurst, everything's R20. These will not be, these will be R8, higher density. As they said, they could build it closer and tighter, I understand that, but it's, when you drive through that entrance, I know it's a public road, but it is Oakhurst, period. And so due to that, the difference in the zoning and lot size, I'm a little concerned about our property values because of that. And most people, their largest investment in their life, I know as a real estate agent, is their home. And we don't want to see that adversely affected in any way, shape, or form. The other big issue is I'm concerned about increased traffic through our neighborhood, which will impact safety. We do not have sidewalks in our neighborhood because it was never supposed to be that dense, quite frankly. And because of that, we've got a lot of people that walk, a lot of people that are older, a lot of people that walk pets. And so that is definitely a larger concern with the addition of at least 34 more drivers coming through our neighborhood. So that's all I wanted to share today.
Thank you, Mr. Scholl.
I'm sharing on behalf of Shatika Spearman. She lives at 1015 Cross Ridge Road, and this is her email. We are the residents of, I'm Cindy Scholl, I should have prefaced with that. We are the residents of 1015 Cross Ridge Road, where this development will create 3 roads surrounding our home. We have a child who rides his bike, and our anxiety would be on high alert every day because of the potentially increased traffic. We would then be the only home in this neighborhood that would have 3 roads surrounding it. We moved into this neighborhood for the quiet, larger lots and safety. Had we known this may happen, we definitely would not have moved in. The beautiful homes in our neighborhood complement each other as each homeowner puts great effort in maintaining our lots. The homes proposed for the new development look nothing like our homes. Again, we would have never bought our home had we known the town would alter the very nature of our neighborhood by allowing dissimilar sized homes and lots. My husband and I work many hours and commute over 100 miles each day to earn an income to maintain our home and lifestyle and meet our needs. This is the reason we are not there today. We should not have to work and worry about this development, essentially changing our everyday lives. We take pride in our neighborhood and contribute to ensuring that we keep our home value up so as to not bring our neighborhood down. The Spearmans, along with every resident of Oakhurst subdivision, respectfully and strongly ask that you not affect our neighborhood by using it as an access point to enter another neighborhood that will not continue our standard of homes and lots. Find another access point and ensure the safety of our children and residents. Am I out of time?
30.
Kathy Collier at 309 Oakhurst Place has similar objections. I can leave these with you.
That's fine.
Okay. I was trying to talk as fast as possible. My name is Kathy Collier, and I live in Oakhurst neighborhood. I'm unable to attend tonight, but it's important that my voice is heard about Stanley Martin's proposed development. Mr. Martin's plans to build 17 houses, with one entrance being on Oakhurst Road and the other on Crossridge Road. These houses are separated from the other houses in his development by a ravine, so instead of building a bridge, he chose a cheaper alternative to attach these houses to the Oakhurst development. This inherently makes these houses part of the Oakhurst development. It's disingenuous for Mr. Martin to state otherwise. Oakhurst is zoned R20. The proposed houses are not R20 and do not meet the covenant and zoning requirements of being an Oakhurst development. The addition of these houses create an undue burden on the Oakhurst neighborhood for maintenance and upkeep of the area without the benefit of HOA dues from new homes in our neighborhood. It also lowers property values due to the high-density nature of the proposed addition. Remember, this area is zoned for R20. Is Mr. Martin intentionally ignoring the zoning requirements by stating these houses are not part of Oakhurst so he can cram as many houses as possible in the area? The largest lot is 0.32 acre. Other concerns are the increased traffic flow and the safety of residents in the neighborhood. Oakhurst is a small neighborhood without sidewalks. Many residents walk their pets and walk the streets for exercise. There are often children walking from the bus to their homes or to friends' homes. Increased traffic from the high-density houses increase the chance of someone getting hurt. I implore the Planning Commission to vote against allowing these high-density houses to be attached to the Oakhurst development. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Scholl. On behalf of Ms. Spearman, and I couldn't get the other last name.
She's at 309.
Collier, thank you.
So it was Ms. Spearman and Ms. Collier? That's fine, I just want to state for the record their names, I didn't hear it. You said Kathy Collier? At 309 Oakhurst Place? Shatika Spearman at 1015 Cross Ridge Road. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Scholl. Mr. Chairman, next on the list is Jason Fishbone. Thank you.
Jason Fishbine, 216 Fair Ridge Road in Oakhurst. First of all, good evening. Thanks for letting us speak. And as Chris mentioned, I'm just referring to the 17 houses that are going to extend off of Oakhurst Road, not the other side of the ravine. So I've lived in Oakhurst for 9 years. I've lived in the area for 47. One of the reasons we moved to Oakhurst was because of my kids, for safety. Like many of our neighbors, our kids play, we walk the neighborhood, we walk the dogs, and adding 17 more houses into that street and associated traffic will immediately jeopardize the safety that we feel right now. Another reason, Chris mentioned the investment aspect. As soon as we have those 17 houses, the largest investment of our life will start to decrease immediately. But not only am I a resident, I'm also serve on the HOA board. We have invested significant time, effort, and money into this neighborhood. We recently assessed the lights in Oakhurst, added street lights. We spent money and time improving the entrance. We're maintaining, we're improving, we're beautifying. And these new houses will be in our neighborhood, taking advantage of our efforts, time, and money, but not contributing. Will they be members of our HOA? I guess we just answered that before. They won't. Will they be paying our HOA fees and investing like all of the houses right next door to them? They will not. So why not them, but everybody else in the same area? Doesn't add up. This has been spun as houses that are not part of Oakhurst, but they are inside Oakhurst. They can't get in or out without using the Oakhurst entrance and driving down Oakhurst Road. Let's look at it like this. How it really is. 17 houses that have been shoehorned into a tiny space. It's a money grab. The largest lot is 1/3 of an acre. And I wish that we had Oakhurst lots on that map that could show you the difference between R20 and R8, but we don't. This is a money grab, and I don't understand how we're going to get a 2,800 to 4,500 square foot house on 1/4 to 1/3 of an acre. Are these 8-story high houses? You're going to have a $500,000 house on 1/3 of an acre? 1/4 of an acre? Come on. What are we doing?
Yep.
What do we do?
Thank you, Mr. Fishburne.
Listen, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. And the entire neighborhood asks you to please do not vote for this.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Mosley, next on the list, I have Teresa Livingston, 105 Fair Ridge Road.
I choose not to speak, but I support everybody else in our neighborhood that got me not to vote for this proposal.
Thank you, Ms. Livingston. Next on the list is Charlie Montgomery, 244 Fair Ridge Road.
Hey, good evening, everyone, neighbors. I also speak for my wife, Elizabeth Calderon. She's the next on the list, so you can go past her. And we just wrapped it up, so I'm just going to read here. Again, thanks for the opportunity to allow us to stand up here and speak our concerns. We all understand and respect the need for thoughtful growth, but obviously we have some concerns. And I share the same concerns as the rest of our neighbors. The infrastructure when Oakhurst was built, it wasn't built to support this kind of traffic. So who's going to maintain it? Maintenance in Blythewood is already an issue with these roads. The proposed development brings significantly more traffic, which I just spoke about, and that raises concerns for our families, children, and pedestrians, as well as questioning the road maintenance. We also are concerned about how these new homes are going to affect our property values and the character of our neighborhood. It's not that we're opposed to new neighbors, but we believe that any new development should be consistent with existing zoning and aesthetics. At the very least, there should be a dedicated entry point to that development that doesn't travel through Oakhurst. We're asking to consider a new access road or to revise the plan so that the development better aligns with our neighborhood's existing structure. We're not asking the project to stop entirely, but we're asking it to be done responsibly and in a way that respects both existing and future residents. So a lot of people up here, including myself, like I spent, 15 years fighting for this country, and that comes with a lot of sacrifices. A lot of people here have done the same thing, and they've invested everything that they've done for this country into these homes. I mean, that's their prized possession. And for developers to come in and just totally dismiss that because they want to put a little more money in their pockets to use a public road, it should be frowned upon by everyone here. So we strongly suggest that you keep that stuff in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Montgomery.
Excuse me. One question.
Yes, sir, Commissioner Taylor.
I'm going to assume everybody who signed up for the list is here to oppose the building of those 17 houses on your guys' side. So we really don't need to hear any more of that if you don't mind. We understand that part. So can we get to the next part if that's feasible to do, because it's like everybody's going to say about the same thing. So.
No. Let them speak.
It was,
We
just,
good.
it was just a thought.
It's not a vote, it's not passed, it's not approved.
Okay.
Who's next on the list, Mr. Wilson?
That would be Mr. Martin Miller, 1009 Cross Ridge Road.
Yeah. Hey,
Good evening. Martin Miller, 1009 Crossridge Road.
give Mr. Miller some respect.
I've been living there for 20 years. I also purchased because of the Serenity lot size. It was just a nice place. Also, I spoke to, I'm just going to jump ahead because most of what I wanted to say was dealing with zoning. I thought, it was 2 years ago or so, we went through the zoning and it was changed to R20 in Oakhurst. And in my opinion, the way it looks, if they access the front gate of Oakhurst to access those 17 lots, then those lots are Oakhurst. So those lots should be R20, no doubt about it. And they should be under the Oakhurst Homeowners Covenant, or HOA. So I also spoke to Mr. Perryman himself about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about those 17 homes, and I said, Jim, I don't want anything built around my house. I said, nobody does. However, I can't stop you from selling your property and having people build on it. I said, the only thing I oppose is if those homes are not on the same size lot and the same size, minimal size homes. And he gave me his word that they were. And from what this looks like, they aren't.
Got it.
So I totally disagree with that. I mean, we have a right to honesty, and we have a right to what we purchased into 20 years ago for me. And, you know, I have nothing personally against Stanley Martin, but if that's what they want to do is come in and disrupt a happy home, if you will, then I have a problem with them. Thank you for your time.
Understand. Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Next, we have Miss Janice Miller, also 1009 Cross Ridge Road.
Good evening, I'm Janice Miller.
Good evening.
From 1009 Cross Ridge Road. I have a problem with a safety issue because we often walk in the neighborhood, either walking for exercise, walking our dogs, children walking, children playing, and that becomes a safety issue when you got increased number of cars in and out from the two new openings, entrances at that Oakhurst Road. That would be an new open entrance from the new 17 homes that would be built. And then at the other end of Cross Ridge Road, for the other end of those new homes that would be built. So that would be a safety issue, because you're gonna have a tremendous amount of traffic coming in and out of there now. Because there's only one way in Oakhurst and one way out, that's it. So that would be a problem, and I have a big concern with that. Because people don't always adhere to the posted speed limits within Oakhurst, and there is a traffic sign that says 20, 25 miles an hour. But people coming in, some people coming in and out don't always adhere to that. And that's a concern, that would be a concern with more traffic coming in and out. The next thing would be my concern. My concern is the decrease in home values due to the Stanley Martin home lots not being similar in size to the current Oakhurst homes and lots. You cannot help but believe they are part of Oakhurst. If you see the Oakhurst sign and you're telling your friends, oh yeah, I live inside of Oakhurst, but I don't live in Oakhurst, but you have to go through Oakhurst to get to my house. But you gotta drive past Oakhurst, and I live at the back end, but drive through the keep driving to the end of Oakhurst Road and turn whichever direct, just keep going, but I'm not a part of Oakhurst. That doesn't make sense. If you're in Oakhurst, you live in Oakhurst. You're a part of Oakhurst. If it's not a part of Oakhurst, it's like when I looked at your agenda tonight, and it said the Boney Road tract, 84 homes. It's not 84 homes. It's 67 over there, that's Boney Road tract. On this side is Oakhurst. And the next thing,
Ms. Miller, that's gonna be your time, but we appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, next on the list, I have Mr. James Perryman, 202 Lake Ashley Drive.
How are you doing today?
Good, sir.
20 years ago, I started Oakhurst, and it was zoned R8 from the very beginning. That is the reason I came into the town. It was requested, it was given, and I bought the property and came into the town. I have built nothing that would anybody, I don't think, can complain about as to what you've got now. As a matter of fact, if your house is like the ones who have just sold, you have found that your home right now is a great investment. The house that just went up for sale, for example, I'm not sure whether it's sold or not, they were asking $565,000 for a house that sold for less than $300,000 when it was built. So I think we have done pretty well. I also think you have done real well because you have kept the road, the yards, you've kept the ambiance of Oakhurst. I could not complain. And I have tried to keep my word too. As a matter of fact, in my phone book right now, I have the names of all 5 of the adjoining people to this 40-acre tract. I've talked with them, and I understand what they want. The builder has the right to do what he wants to do as far as this committee is concerned. But when you moved, and I just want to make a couple quick points, when you moved into Oakhurst, it was very obvious there were 2 more roads. As a matter of fact, I've been told by the county that I cannot take that property and sell it as a partial lot unless I apply for a road closure. It's already dedicated as a road. So when you moved into Oakhurst, it was obvious that there were going to be 2 more roads connected. I cannot cross financially the wetlands. You would not want me to cross the wetlands to make a connection over to Boney. That was one of the big things in the last. The other thing I wanted to mention is that this is the 3rd time, and I have not been in a hurry to develop this, this is the 3rd time that we've been before this committee. All 3 times we were approved. The only thing we were working on in the last meeting was 4 flag lots to get a road to them and come back to you. So this development from 81 to 84, one was 88, these plans have been proved previously. You're shaking your head no, but they have. And we want this to be an acclimate to Oakhurst. Now, as I say, those of you who know me, Martin, you know me well. I keep word, right? All right? And I have tried my best to keep my word to you, and hopefully...
Thank you, Mr. Perryman.
All right. One last statement, and I'm through. Okay? Thank you for listening.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, Mr. Chair, next on the list is Mr. Kenneth Briggs. Is that right, Kenneth? Briggs, okay, thank you. 212 Fair Ridge.
Afternoon, Commission, fellow neighbors. I'm going to make it short and sweet here. I'm going to pretty much agree with everybody, what they've been saying so far, except for the gentleman, Mr. Martin here. We have a beautiful neighborhood. I moved here 3 years ago, and right now this is like our 2nd time for me and my wife addressing this issue here with my neighbors. We don't have, if we had our say, we would prefer not to have those 17 homes built, but of course everybody's in the market of making money. So as you can actually see on the map there, there's a couple of drawings for the houses that are currently there on almost the able parcels. If those 17 homes were actually equivalent to those homes, I don't think that's a hard sell for us, you know. And also another thing that needs to be brought up is that since I've also been in this neighborhood, our fees have actually gone up, which was actually spoken about with the HOA dues. So now my hard-earned money is actually being allocated towards the 17 homes that are actually being looked at to get built there, and they're not actually even putting anything in the pot, you know. So that's something for them to actually think about. Like if they was Oakhurst,
I don't think it'll be an issue. So if they're gonna actually be coming in and actually building, they should actually be recognized and looked at as being a part of Oakers and not building in, because now we already having road issues in the neighborhood. And also off of Oakhurst Road, in addition to Bonnie Road, we see Bonnie Road is actually trash. Oakhurst Road is actually leading to that direction of being trash. And that's something that's actually going to be affecting our neighborhood in the future if we want to have additional road traffic coming through there. So please just consider all our concerns as you go ahead and weigh your option at looking at going ahead and let's just deaden this and putting it to a close for all. All right.
Yes, sir, Mr. Briggs. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, next on the list, I have Nicole Briggs. Okay, thank you. Okay, next on the list, I have Mike Mexter, 224 Fair Ridge Road.
Good evening. Thanks for taking a few minutes to listen. A couple of salient points that we really need to look at. We're talking about a safety issue within the neighborhood, but nobody has mentioned the impact of Scout and the growth of Blythewood thus far. If we look at Boney Road and the new Bethel Hanbury School, we'll notice during drop-off and pickup times that the entirety of Boney Road leading up to Bethel Hanbury, one lane is completely blocked. So cars are forced to go around, right? And that causes head-ons to inevitably happen. I almost got in one the other day. The concern I have is that with 34 new vehicles, let's call it 32 to be gracious, with 32 new vehicles coming in and out of our neighborhood and the traffic stacking up from Bethel Hanbury coming down Boney to Oakhurst and even coming up to the entry to our neighborhood, those vehicles are going to be backed up as well. My concern, and I don't know if anybody here has had to do it, but I've had to call a father in to tell him that his child was hit by a negligent driver in a wreck. Somebody is going to have to make that call in our neighborhood sooner or later. That needs to be considered, right? I know we've said, well, we did a traffic impact study, and I got that. But that was for Boney Road. What about for us? Everything has been focused on Boney Road. We're couching it disingenuously as Boney Road without any mention whatsoever about Oakhurst and the families that live in there. We have families with disabilities. I myself am disabled. Some say in my head, but I mean, we have families that are disabled. We have families that are older. Nobody's done a traffic impact study in our neighborhood, and that needs to be considered. And second of all, I think it's kind of disingenuous that Stanley Martin is saying that they build executive-style homes when they're pretty notorious for entry level because they're easier to put up, the materials aren't as costly, and they can turn them faster. Appreciate your time.
Mr. Chair, next on the list, Augustus Harriet, 1000 Cross Ridge.
Yeah, my name is Augustus Harriet. I live at 1000 Crossroads Road, and I'm speaking for me and my wife, Marseille. Again, one of the concerns we have is safety. The other concern we have is, they say they're not a part of Oakhurst. But when they tell their friends how to get to their house, if they tell EMS how to get to their house, they're going to say Oakhurst. They're not going to say whatever the name of that new subdivision is. So it's Oakhurst. I live on Crossridge Road, which that road will be extended. I'm 1,000, so I guess 1,020 is to be this new subdivision. They're on the same road we are. They should be the same lot size. And the question I have for the 17 homes on this side is utilities. Right now, everything in Oakhurst is on septic. I'm proposing that these small lots won't be. How is sewage going to get back to those 17 homes? Are they going to cross the wetlands, or are they going to try to come through Oakhurst? Because we're all septic. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay, Mr. Chair, next on the list is Sherman Lewis, 4 Crossroads Court.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity. I'll make this brief and quick. Usually I write stuff down, but I'm not going to do it this time. I'm a 21-year military vet. I grew up, I'm not sure everybody here probably grew up in very good and very financially prosperous ways. I did not. I grew up in a town where we lived in an alley, where I lived in projects. So every time I drive through my front gate of Oakhurst, I reminisce of the houses and the areas I used to drive down, wishing that I could live someplace like this. And as I'm driving down Oakhurst, I say, man, I wish I could live. Wait a minute, I live here. I care about my community. I've only been here 4 years. I grew up in Maryland and I came down here and I retired and I said I'm going to stay, right? I'm staying because I care, because I love my community. Everybody in our neighborhood, we speak, we talk to each other, we care about our community. These gentlemen here have a job to do. They're here to make money. They are very disrespectful in my eyes because they have not looked at one person that's been up here speaking the entire time. So they do not care about us. They care about making money, and they care about getting out of here. They have not respected anybody in here that's been up here. So we're gonna give them the opportunity to come here, make money, and leave, and destroy our community even more. I think not. This is absolutely insane. Whatever Mr. Perryman wants to do with his land, cool. Then keep it Oakhurst. That's all we're asking. And if you're not gonna keep it Oakhurst, build a bridge going to the other side, block it off, don't let them come into our community. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay, Mr. Chair, next on the list is Ethel Johnson, 301 Oakhurst Place.
Good evening. I'm Ethel Johnson, 301 Oakhurst Place, and I'm also here representing the Oakhurst Homeowners Association. Now, a couple of things that stands out to me at this particular time. Listening to what was said by the representatives of Stanley Martin, they talked about the fact that these are going to be these expensive homes on these small lots, not at all mentioning if they're going to incorporate into Oakhurst, not taking the time to look at the lots that we currently have. The gentleman in front of me mentioned the fact that's extremely, extremely disrespectful. They also mentioned the fact that they will have a gated community. However, that gated community they will have 17 homes on the Oakhurst side. The question was asked, does that mean then that Oakhurst becomes a gated community? It's just a sleight of the hand. Oh no, absolutely not. Then we talk about the fact that, oh yes, has anyone ever thought about building over the wetlands? Yes, I mean, if you know anything about this, the comment was, if you know anything about this, that would be an exorbitant cost. That's not something that we're willing to assume. So I say to you, if it is okay, if you're saying that you're building these expensive homes, and you recognize that there are costs associated with building these expensive homes, then there are costs that are associated with incorporating into a standing neighborhood. And the fact that it has been ignored, the fact that you are not thinking about the residents here, the fact that everything that has been brushed off today, it is totally disrespectful, and we will not stand for it. We're not going to sit here and say, oh, it's okay. We can't stop this development from coming. The other 67 homes, that's fine, but what we're concerned with is 17 homes that will be incorporated into our neighborhood, and we're asking you to give us the respect that is due. Let's talk about the home sizes. Let's look at this sketch plan that you have here. Let's be real honest about what we see happening here. So that is all we're asking. We talk about honesty, we talk about integrity, and we are good neighbors, and we take really good care of our neighborhood. And you can tell by the turnout that we have here that we are truly caring people. So what we're asking you to do at this particular time is just give consideration to the residents of the Oakhurst subdivision. We're doing what we're expected to do. We are constantly beautifying our neighborhood, and we want it to remain that way. We do not want someone else to come in with 17 homes, ignore the beautifications that we have made, not talk about putting anything. I was sitting here listening, waiting for them to say what they will do to make this neighborhood a part of Oakhurst. Nothing. Those words are very telling. We have heard you. We're not pleased. So we say right now, let's have some conversations. Let's be very honest about what's happening. Let's not pretend. We have heard that word disingenuous, and that's exactly what this is. So you can see from the representation that we have here, we care about what we're doing, and we ask you to respect the needs and the wants and the considerations of the Oakhurst subdivision. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have 4 more names on the list. Next is Loretta Lassane, 1 Cross Ridge Court.
Thank you. My name is Loretta Lassane, and I reside at 1 Cross Ridge Court. So on the diagram that you have up on the screen, I'm actually the corner of Cross Ridge Court and Cross Ridge Road. So on that corner, right now, we have probably about maybe 4 to 6 cars that come through there per day. So with the addition of the 17 homes, at least on that end of Cross Ridge Road, that'll probably increase the traffic to around 20 cars per day. So my concern as a parent is that we typically walk or exercise outside. With that increase of traffic, it's a huge safety concern for me and my family. And as plenty of my fellow neighbors have said, we do a lot in our community, and we have children that are outside, we have families that are outside, people that are walking their pets. So it's definitely a real concern from my perspective, but also like as a mom, my child has recently started college, and I have concerns about the safety and integrity of our neighborhood. I want to make sure that when he comes back home, it feels like home. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Chair, next on the list is Sophia and Leroy Dunlap, 317 Oakhurst Place. Is Mr. and Mrs. Sophia and Leroy? Sorry, sir. Thank you. Sorry about that.
This is almost unexpected for me, but my name is Leroy Dunlap. I live at 317 Oakhurst Place. I'm the old soldier that's got the soldier in the front yard, if you don't know. But I've been here a long time, and I've seen people come, I've seen people go. But I've seen the people that stay with families that take a lot of pride in their property, as I think I do. And I think, and I may be out of line, but I think those reduced lots came about a few years ago. And they did a, you know how we redevelop? They were redeveloped to create smaller lots. But at the same time, we were told that they would not affect the value of the homes that were in Oakhurst Place. But dollars has a tendency to change things. Money put blinders on people, and we forget about people. And where I grew up, I stayed almost 31 years in the military. And they told me an unarmed soldier cannot fight. We as residents of Oakhurst Place, we're like unarmed soldiers that cannot fight. Because I know my man, he doesn't probably know me, but I know him. And he's concerned about the almighty dollar. And if I had that much money, I would be too. But I don't. So I have to work hard and earn mine. He's gonna tell me he worked just as hard. That lot he just sold, he put he piped it. But Blythewood wouldn't allow me to pipe mine. Blythewood didn't allow him either, but he did it anyway. And guess what? Ain't nobody say nothing to him. The pipe's still in the damn ground. Excuse me. So, you know, on one hand, we say we care about the people. But do we really care? I don't know who you people are here. But I ask you, do you give a damn about us? It doesn't appear to be.
We're all Blythewood residents as well, Mr. Dunlap.
Pardon me, sir.
I said, Mr. Dunlap, we are all Blythewood residents. We are volunteers. We are not elected officials. We are not paid. We're not bossed either by the town. So we hear you.
I don't know your purpose, okay? Because I've tried to stay away. But because of this and because of the magnitude, they got me out the house. And I'm pleased to be here. Thank you very much for your time. And I'm moving back to my seat.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I have two names left. Last name is Newsom. I'm sorry, I don't want to butcher the first name. 240 Fair Ridge Lane. Newsom. Ma'am? Okay, sure. Would you like to speak?
Y'all pardon me, I was born with this voice and my mics keep dying, so bear with me.
Okay, my name is Bettina Newsom. I live on 240 Fair Ridge Lane. I noticed that across my house is a lot for sale. And he made 2 lots out of 1 lot. When we moved in there, they told us that the house is going to be all the same, the garage going to be on the side, not in the front. And we have houses built with the garages in the front. So the houses, what you showed up there, it really don't look like our houses. So when they're gonna move up there, it's not all equal to our house. We have brick houses, we have big houses. And I have a disabled child with a wheelchair. He goes walking too in the area. I would be scared to put him on the road. So that's all what I have to say.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
And last on the list is Carolyn Taylor, 109 Fair Ridge Road.
My name is Carolyn Taylor. I live at 109 Fair Ridge Road. I don't think I need to say anything else. I think enough has been said. I piggyback off everyone that has spoken except one, and I don't think I need to say who that one is. And I just want to say thank you, neighborhood. Thank you very much for your concern and your love.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor.
Mr. Chair, that does conclude the list that signed up for the public comment section.
All right. Applicant, if you wish to rebut, I'll give you 5 minutes to rebut. If you choose not to, we'll move on. I think they had plenty of questions for you. I have my notes. Did you take yours? I could go back over what everybody said.
thank you. Start with the question. The main one question that was asked was regarding the current neighborhood is septic, and they asked where the sewer was going to be going out of. That was one of the notes I made. That sewer, everything that the 17 lots has been discussed, yes, those will be on public sewer, and that is being tied into the lower left-hand corner. Is that correct? Where that's correct. Correct. That pump station there. I understand. There's very likely very little that I'm going to say that's going to appease the questions that were asked tonight, and I understand that. Unfortunately, the way that our zoning and HOA regulations and everything, the way it is written in state law, is your HOA encumbers the property in which your neighborhood is zoned, or in which your neighborhood is encumbered, which is all of your parcels. This 40 acres is going to be encumbered under a very similar HOA. So it will have HOA guidelines, and I think that it will meet and attract the same type of homeowners that you all are. We cannot tie in to your HOA because your HOA does not encumber this property. That's just the way the laws are written. I understand that your frustrations with the lot sizes that we have proposed versus the lot sizes that you all live on, but we are coming in and not doing anything any different than any other developer would be asking to do given the current zoning of the property. In fact, I mean, whether it's good news or bad news, it is still less lots than could have gone on there in 60 to 90 days. That may not be a acceptable answer to you, and I understand that, but that is still the fact. A lot of the other concerns, product, and some of your opinions, I am glad you're welcome to that opinion, and I don't think trying to banter you back and forth about that in a public setting is going to be useful time. I understand your concerns about the safety of the traffic. It does feel like this, yes, this is Oakhurst Road. I live in the neighborhood as well. I understand that. But it is a public road that we are required to tie into because it is there, as Mr. Perryman mentioned, that when this was originally proposed, whenever the subdivision started, that tie-in was always going to happen. I understand that most of my responses are not going to appease your concerns, and I'm sorry that you feel that way. I would, if there's any additional questions from the council or from the commission, happy to answer those prior to you voting.
All right. Stand by. I've got one out there. I will have public comments at the end again.
I did have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
If part of the community that you're proposing is going to be adjoined to the Oakhurst community, why would we not also have a traffic study of that Oakhurst Road? I noted that you did Black Elk Lane, which is further north and not impacting the primary area around the school.
I'll let give the engineer to answer.
Yeah, I'm not the traffic engineer, I'm the site engineer, but we could just base it off what the traffic engineer did. His study's in there. He looked at both, he looked at all analysis points, and that's the study he came up with no impacts at all.
Right, yeah. So traffic engineers basically look at your isolated property that you're trying to develop. They don't take into consideration any of the other properties being developed in the area.
No, they do take into consideration. Oh, they,
I think I talked to quite a few of them up here, and they try to tell you that the traffic is going to increase by 10 or 15 seconds, and then we're left living with trying to squeeze another 168 cars on the 2-lane road with one traffic light while you guys go about your merry way. I think that's the consensus regarding that. And none of us here are traffic engineers, so you just stating your opinion and I'm stating mine. So to answer her question, which I believe she said that she did not see where that part was included in the traffic study. Do you have an answer why?
I would have to go back and ask the traffic engineer that question.
Okay.
They're gonna meet the requirements of the SCDOT.
So the answer is no, you don't understand why. Thank you. Any other questions? From the commission?
No questions.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Wilson, are there any more staff remarks?
I don't have any at this time.
Okay. So at this time, we'll put the ball in the court of the Planning Commission. And commissioners, do you have any comments before I say what I have to say?
Yeah, I read the traffic study, and it dealt with the ins and outs of, from the Boney Road section of the subdivision onto Boney Road. And it said 80% of the people would be turning south, which leads to Blythewood Road or Main Street. And we know what that mess is right now. And I don't think the traffic studies take into account beyond the neighborhood. And I also want to say that the Oakhurst folks have made a compelling argument for their point.
Got it. All right. So this has been a lot. Like I said, this is the biggest planning commission meeting of my several years here on the commission. But before we proceed with further discussion on the proposed residential development, I want to take a moment as chairman to express my position clearly. While the zoning ordinance may allow up to 16, because we always talk about what could be more, and we talk about up to, and it seems like you guys always want to go to the up to. While the ordinance may allow up to 16 homes per acre, we never talk about how far we want to back away from that. I have serious concerns about the real-world impact of that level of density, especially on our already overburdened infrastructure. The traffic studies we've been presented do not, in my opinion, fully or accurately account for the totality of current and upcoming growth in and around Blythewood. They look at developments in isolation rather than the cumulative effect. The reality is that our roads are already overwhelmed. We're seeing congestion, safety issues, and strain on our transportation network, and it's only going to get worse if we continue to approve high-density developments without addressing these infrastructure deficiencies first. Infrastructure just came up so many times. Infrastructure came up in the way that people receive water, the way that people have created their own opportunity for their water, and building bridges over water that seem too expensive for development. So, and I happen to, my degrees are in emergency management and homeland security, of which I will be walking magna cum laude on Saturday coming up. So the reality is our roads are already overwhelmed. We're seeing congestion, safety issues, and strain on our transportation network. It's only going to get worse if we continue to approve high-density developments without addressing these infrastructure deficiencies first. This is not about opposing growth. It's about demanding responsible, measured growth. We cannot continue to throw more homes and more cars at an infrastructure system that is not built to handle it. And that's just speaking on behalf of Blythewood residents in general, including those of Oakhurst. I strongly believe we need to develop and implement a comprehensive infrastructure and traffic management strategy before moving forward with any additional high-density projects. That's what good governance and long-term stewardship of our town demand. Now, with that said, that's my personal opinion. Now we get into, I believe it was Mr. Dunlap that said, I don't know what it is y'all do. So we have our opinions, but then, you know, according to the law, the applicant has a right to apply, and we make decisions in the best interest of the town and its residents. And when we make an approval or a denial here, that final decision does not rest with us. So I want everyone to understand that we make recommendations to council, and those recommendations typically are about, did the applicant meet certain criteria? That means that in certain instances, the language is tricky where it seems like we may be supporting an applicant and a project where, in fact, we may not be. We might simply be saying, did they meet the criteria and check these boxes? Now, what we're able to do here as the Planning Commission is say, it looks okay, but we like for you to change a few things. We like for you to do a few things to try to meet these standards that are in line with our written ordinances, right? And other times, like this one, we have, they mentioned it before, we have an existing land development ordinance that they were able to get in on, and then we have an incoming one. The bad part about that is no commissioner up here has a copy of that ordinance, the existing ordinance that they've applied under. So personally, I would like to see those areas that they comply and those areas where we may be able to request changes before I make any type of official decision. I'm the chairman of this commission, but I'm not the overall deciding factor. We're fair, we have a quorum, there are 5 of us out of the 7 here today. And so with that, are there any motions on the floor?
Can I have one more? I have a question.
Absolutely, sir.
I have a question for the applicants. Would you be willing to cut out the Oakhurst part of the development?
Good question.
Or to consider a bridge.
There's a lot of people in here to be trying to get construction vehicles around if they decide to park in the street or stand in the street or something.
I mean, I believe that would be a consideration, but per the ordinance that has been in place for quite a long time, we are meeting all those check boxes that are required. We're not asking for anything special or variance or any opinions or anything. I mean, it's really just, do we meet the regulations or not? We've heard everything that's been said and can't, take that in consideration. We can, talk to the owner about it and see what we can do on that side. But really, all we're asking is for planning commission to say, do we meet the requirements, based on those zoning ordinance.
And so my next question is, if the maximum is 16 houses per acre, what's the minimum?
You don't have a minimum in your ordinance.
Never do. Could be one house.
That's something y'all might want to discuss with your attorney and, get the ordinance changed.
I couldn't hear you, sir.
The proposed is what? It's 3 per acre. Under 3 per acre is
Got
what's
it.
proposed on the plan.
Ordinance says that it's a third, but how can it be under?
It's a 40-acre parcel and there's 84 units.
Some of them are .28.
It's,
You're being very liberal with the words, right?
no, that's how it, Kirk can correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I've done this in quite a few municipalities. I'm not aware of any municipality that doesn't look at a per acre unit as the entire parcel being considered, divided by the number of units being proposed. It is a over 40-acre parcel and there's 84 units. Every municipality would look at this density as just under 3 per acre. It's not, I mean, if that's, I understand that you may think that's liberal. That is how every municipality in the industry would look at this project.
My goal is just to have you guys explain the math, because there's not many developers out there in the crowd today.
I understand.
Among the hardworking people that are there. So, you know, when math sounds tricky, I kind of need an explanation on it so that I'm made to believe it's not so tricky and that it's just the way it is.
That's the way it's done. I don't have an answer of the
Okay.
origination of why that.
That is accurate, yes.
Yep. All right. So, commissioners, do we have any motions? Thank you again. I'm going to open the floor to public comments again at the end. If you look at the existing agenda, open citizens' comments are at the end. I tried to be fair to allow the public to engage the applicant early before we made any votes or motions. But is your comment brief? Is it less than 2 minutes? Is it less than 1 minute? Is it?
I just have a quick question. They say 40 acres total, and there's 84 units or whatever. How much of that 40 acres is actually buildable, though? Has that 40 acres already assumed X number of acres are unbuildable?
Got it. Any response?
I would say on any parcel, every acre is buildable. How much money you spend to build on it?
With the exception of the wetlands or protected green space. Yeah, oh yeah. But we saw that with Scout.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
You say there's 40 acres of land in the parcel.
Here, I apologize. If we could just we need people to come up to the mic, so if you're gonna, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, well, wetlands, protected greenlands, and.
Yeah, so we have a record of it. We need everybody to speak into them.
No worries. Mike McMaster, 224 Fair Ridge. So you guys are saying there's 40 acres total in the parcel, right? So there's wetlands in there that we are, from my understanding, considering unbuildable. How much of that is off of the 40 acres? Because that impacts the number, the square footage that's available per parcel per house. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I deal with it all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes
Thank you.
sense. So the way the ordinance is written doesn't take what you would consider unbuildable land, but you can build on the entire site if y'all wanted to. I mean, you could
Including
impact
bridges,
wetlands.
right?
You don't have to build bridges. You can put dirt there instead. Put a culvert in. So you can do that, but as their ordinance is written, it doesn't say take out the wetlands areas or low-lying areas or anything like that. It's just acreage divided by units, and that's
Got
just how it's written. And that's most municipalities. That's how they do it.
All right. So at this time, we're going to close the floor for dialogue temporarily. And I will ask the commission and commissioners, are there any motions that we'd like to put on the floor at this time in regard to action item Boney Road Track TMS Romeo 15200-0307?
I have a motion. I'd like to motion for us to defer so that the commissioners can review the ordinances and compare the proposal. There's questions from R8 versus R20, and I want to make sure that I have all of the information in front of me before I make a vote on it.
Second?
All right, so we currently have a motion on the floor for a deferment and a second, pending further review of the zoning ordinances Romeo 8 and Romeo 20. I'm going to take a vote now. All in favor of the motion on the floor, sound off by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. All right. We now open the floor for additional public comment. Each citizen will be given 2 minutes to speak. State your name and address for the record before making your additional comments. We respectfully ask the comments remain civil and relevant to planning-related matters. This is an opportunity where if there's anything to discuss regarding town business outside of the action item, those folks, if you're here, you're welcome to come up and speak. We don't have a list out, so are there any comments that are related to anything else?
Chair, if I could step in and say,
Please.
So I know you deferred it
Yes.
as a unanimous vote, but if nothing is done within 60 days per state law, they're going to it will be approved.
Got it.
Unless the applicant agrees to the deferral and agrees to come back at the next meeting.
Okay. Tricky.
As I understand the ordinances, I'm not sure if this is in state law, but I think the ordinance states that if an applicant, brings forward a full application, and if the board or the commission does not take action on that within 60 days of the application date, then it is deemed approved. Now, I really don't know the effect of a deferral on whether that extends that 60 days or not.
All right.
But just bringing that to the commission's attention.
Got it. So, Commission, are there any additional motions on the floor?
Well, my question would be
To whom?
to the, Pete.
Yes, sir.
If we denied it because of the issues, would that be feasible?
The commission can take any action it wants on this, but I just wanted to bring, I don't even know the timeline of this. I'm not sure when their application was submitted. I don't know if we're 30 days from their application being submitted. I don't know if we're obviously
Help me,
more,
John.
we're obviously more than 15 days.
It was over 30, I believe, correct? That's correct.
Right, so that's why I say I don't know the exact time frame we're dealing with here, but I would imagine before the next regularly scheduled planning commission meeting, we're probably bumping up against the 60 days.
Right.
Lots of times when there is a deferral, it is because the applicant is sometimes in agreement with the deferral,
Okay.
so that discussions can be had about reworking a proposal. Obviously, I heard some things here tonight about reworking the 17 lots on the Oakhurst side or something like that, but
Right.
like I say, I haven't heard any sort of consent from the applicants to the
Right.
deferral. So
So-
that's why I wanted to bring that to the commission's attention.
Got it. So, Mr. Balthazar, then our other options are to make a recommendation to approve or deny. Or make a recommendation, correct?
Well,
as
I mean,
commission?
I think first of all, that motion to defer needs to be reconsidered.
Okay.
So somebody could just make a motion to reconsider that and to sort of reverse that. And then, yes, I mean, you can take whatever action you want to approve, deny. I think those are the,
Yeah.
or approve with conditions or whatever the
And obviously
whatever the case may be.
the applicant has the opportunity to appeal any
Yeah.
decision
Right.
that the planning commission makes.
Right.
Um,
So I think it's pretty easy to pull that deferment back with the motion.
I move that we pull the deferment back, if that's the correct term.
Someone that, I think it was a unanimous vote to defer, so since that was a unanimous vote, any member can make a motion to reconsider that,
Okay.
and that.
So I
and
move
that
to
would-
reconsider the deferral vote.
All right, so we've got a motion and a reconsideration to reconsider the deferment vote. So in that case, we'll be voting again.
Yes, I mean, I think that motion and second, if that motion is approved, that will take the deferment off the table.
Okay,
And
that's
it'll be right back where you were before.
All right, so, Commission, do we have a motion on the floor at this time regarding Boney Road Track TMS number Romeo 15200-03-07?
Yes. We have a motion to, we already did the motion, we retract that deferment, right?
Right, no deferment at this time.
All right. So now we want to make a,
We have to
motion.
vote.
Yeah.
We have to
Well,
vote.
Mr. Chairman, was there a second for that motion to reconsider?
Yes, there was.
Okay, well, then I think it would just, unless there's any
Yeah.
discussion amongst the
Right.
commission, just need a vote on that.
Okay, so, all right, so,
And a yes vote would be to reconsider and to
Okay.
put this item back on the table.
I got it. Now, I'm starting to feel like the other Monday folks here up here now. All right, so we have a motion to, and a second to reconsider the deferment. All right?
Yeah,
So,
sorry, Chair, but if we can just say, just call out all in favor, so I can.
thank you.
Yes.
All in favor of reconsidering?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Ayes have it. So we'll reconsider the deferment.
We still need to take action.
Right, so now we need additional motions, now that that's off the table. Are there any further motions at this point?
I would motion that the applicant complete a traffic study of the Oakhurst Road. That is the primary entrance to the 17 homesteads that they're proposing.
We have a motion on the floor requesting that the applicant complete an additional traffic study of the area in question, which is the Oakhurst Road entrance off of, I cannot read that. Is it Cross Ridge Road and Oakhurst? Help me out, because I can't see it. Thank you. So that entrance. Is there a second that wants to see that happen?
I second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. So I will take a vote.
Discussion?
Oh, yeah, let's discuss.
Okay, so by passing this motion, that still doesn't make a decision.
Right.
And so we're
approval or
back to
denial.
the 60-day, it gets approved.
Mhm.
I think it's a good idea, but I don't know.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, and I apologize
No, it's
for
fine.
getting us into this.
Yeah,
I
because it
went
sounds like
to
conditions
the
of-
source. I went to the source.
Thank you.
When the deferment came up, I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of what may happen. But I am reading from section 153.036 of the town ordinances. And this is under the section for approval of a sketch plan, which is the item in front of the commission today. And it states, if the planning commission fails to act on the sketch plan within 60 days after application first appears on its agenda, the sketch plan shall be deemed approved. And a certificate to that effect shall be issued. So, backing up, like I say, here we're at the source.
Yep.
60 days is a thing, but this is the first time it's ever appeared on the agenda.
Got it.
So, it's my opinion that there is sort of a deferral built into this, or some time to consider. I mean, I think you've got 60 days from today to take some action on this.
Got it. And I mean, it's my opinion that many people in the room, with the exception of a few, agree that we disagree on this sketch plan. So I just need to know how to legally have the commissioners express that via motion so that we can vote on it.
Since it's a sketch plan, we just need to make a motion to.
Well, right now, there's another motion on the table.
The other motion on the table is for an additional condition of the applicant to complete an additional traffic study for their Oakhurst Road entrance. But there's also an entrance at Cross Ridge Road, it looks like to me, because it looks like Cross Ridge Road comes to a stop, Oakhurst Road comes to a stop, and it looks like they're looking to build 6 houses at the Cross Ridge Road entrance and 11 at the Oakhurst Road entrance. I'm not sure if they're counting that an additional entrance or that's an extension of Oakhurst into the pseudo Oakhurst territory. So it's difficult, but
We have to vote on the motion about the traffic study before we can move on, is that right?
yes, that is correct.
Well, I second the traffic study.
We got a motion and a second on the traffic study. We need to vote.
Sorry, who made the motion on the traffic study? Nikki?
Yeah. Commissioner Schaffner and Commissioner Taylor seconded. And
And Pete can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that we can force them to do another traffic study just for the 17 homes in Oakhurst. The traffic study or the ordinance states that a traffic study is required when there's 75 or 80. I have it in front of me, but to request a traffic study for 17 homes, I think we could get ourselves in hot water doing that.
It's a part of the 84 homes that they're proposing.
It's the primary intersection that they would cross, the majority of the homeowners.
Right. I do agree with that, but it's not 84 homes that are using the Oakhurst to get in and out. It's the 17.
Okay. Well, that helps us a little bit more. All right, so we still have that motion and second on the table. Go ahead. Got it, but we still have a vote.
You want me to wait for you to vote?
No, you go ahead.
I just want to remind everybody on the committee that, we've met with staff. Staff has reviewed these plans to ensure that we meet the zoning ordinance. Per the ordinance, just if there is, for some reason, y'all vote nay, there's going to need to be a reason why on that ordinance we're not meeting whatever requirement it is basically my point. I just want to make that clear.
Okay.
All right.
Yep, we do this up here, you know.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may again, I think Kirk is right. I mean, y'all can make a motion to require another traffic study, or that you would like to see another traffic study.
Right, but that doesn't mean that they have to comply.
Doesn't mean that they have to do it.
Right, but it would be courteous of them to this town and this community to comply.
Right, and let me make clear my role here also. As everybody knows, I'm the town attorney. I am not making any recommendation here whatsoever as to what should be done. I think it is my role to make sure that you're following the correct standards, evaluating these matters correctly. I know we're sort of going around in a circle here, and that's partly my fault.
It's okay.
But that's why you go to the source always.
Right.
You gotta read the law. I read the ordinance
Yes,
to the
sir.
commission just a little while ago. I'm looking at the state statute now, and I'm reading from 6-29-1150, which deals with the submission of plans or plats to a planning commission. And in here it says, these procedures may include requirements for submission of sketch plans, preliminary plans, and final plans for review and approval or disapproval. That's what you're doing today, considering a sketch plan.
Right.
It says time limits not to exceed 60 days must be set forth for action on all plans or plats. Failure of the designated authority to act designated authority to act within 60 days of the receipt of development plans or subdivision plats with all documentation required by the land development regulations is considered to constitute approval. So,
Right.
what I'm reading is a conflict between the state statute and the town's ordinance.
Okay.
State statute would prevail.
Right.
So, we're back at the 60-day thing here.
Got it.
We're back at a
Right.
possibility that if some action is not taken tonight, you're butting up against the 60-day thing.
That window
and then,
that-
and then an approval may be,
Right.
may just happen by default, so to speak.
Got it. So
Yes,
this,
sir.
this sketch plan is not a final plan, correct?
No, the sketch plan is not a final plat, it's not a preliminary plat, but it is a site-specific development plan that gives the developer a vested right under state law and our ordinance, if it is approved.
Right.
But no, it's not, it's an initial step in the process.
Got it. And our vote this evening is to verify that the applicant has satisfied the requirement as per town law to submit this sketch plan. We're voting to, our recommendation that comes from this vote does what if we recommend or deny? Because it seems like it's starting to sound like we're stuck a little bit. But there will be action tonight. I got time today.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I mean, the commission's decision is just that, it's a decision. It's not a recommendation.
Okay.
It's to either approve or deny a sketch
Okay, sir,
plan.
that makes it very simple for us. So we do have a motion on the floor and a second for an applicant traffic study. Let's go ahead and take a vote on that. We'll vote and conclude that particular item. So right now, the vote is going to be whether the commission would like for the developer to provide an additional traffic study for the Oakhurst Road entrance, of which we make a vote and the developer, out of the kindness of their hearts, could comply, or they could not.
Yeah, if we can just repeat the motion, sorry.
Yeah.
If we can just repeat the motion clearly so we have it on record.
Right, so-
And I'm sorry, if I could interrupt here.
Sure.
And I don't like to get in the middle of this. The
Yes.
PC is a body that selects, or that, excuse me, is not elected. They volunteer, and we
Sure.
appreciate your time. But I do believe that cooler heads could potentially prevail in this. And again, I want to be clear, this is not a recommendation.
Mhm.
This is just my observations in my position here at the town. Being here 12 years, and the applicant may tell me to fly a kite as well, but I do think there could be some sort of agreement potentially reached. Now, it is about dollars, and they're not going to buy a property and develop it if they don't,
Right.
if they're not going to make money off of it.
Right.
But, and I haven't asked the applicant this, but what if those 17 lots were developed under the R20 for Oakhurst?
Right.
I understand that that probably wouldn't make everybody happy. That's a hard thing to do. Again, the applicant might tell me or us to fly a kite.
Right.
There's no way in heck we're going to do that. But it does seem like the residents here tonight are really concerned
Right.
about these 17 lots.
Right.
I don't think I've heard one person speak out against the 66 lots
Right.
that are going to be built on Boney Road, but it's the 17.
And I want to be clear that there's no pressure here on me. I did also hear Mr. Boatwright, is that your name? Yes, sir. Heard Mr. Boatwright earlier mention when he was talking about hardy plank and brick, and that's the initial way they were looking at it. Then we had everyone come up and talk
Right.
about the R20 preference.
Right.
And most of the homes in Oakhurst are brick, correct? Right, so
So-
there's been plenty of conversation tonight for the developer to consider, and the developer has had opportunity to use their expertise in their field and their time to, try to say something to provide the people that are here tonight with a bit of comfort, and they've elected not to. They reminded me of timelines.
Developer, if they would consent to a deferral?
Sure.
So would there be a potential motion? And again, the developer does have to consent to that?
Right, but our deferral's been taken off the table at this time. So we would have to then have another motion for deferral, another second,
But-
and another vote.
Yes, but I think the law, as I understand it, and as I've read it tonight, the matter could be deferred, but I think.
That doesn't stop the timeline.
It doesn't unless the developer consents to a deferral. So that some of these matters, 17 lots versus R8 versus R20, maybe some of these things can be talked about and it can come back in 30 days. But I don't know, that's up to them. That's up to somebody up here asking if they will consent to a deferral.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question with regards to breaking up the proposed, I guess, project. Could we vote one way for the 64 homes, or 67 homes, and another way for the 17?
So the parcel is all one parcel and it's not attached to Oakhurst. So I do see what you're saying. But it's all, the 40 acres is all one parcel. I understand it butts up to Oakhurst. And again, Nikki, I do see what you're saying, but it's in my opinion, no.
Also, to answer your question, in the same ordinance section that I read from earlier, it says, upon determination by the planning official that the sketch plan submittal is complete, the application shall be placed on the next available planning commission agenda for commission review and approval. 1, disapproval. 2, or approval with modifications. And I think that's the same thing as approving with conditions.
Yes.
You can always approve with conditions, and the ordinance allows you to approve with modifications.
I would like to make a motion if possible.
Sir,
That's up to the chair.
sir, we've got an existing vote regarding the traffic study that we need to vote on first so that we can move forward.
Please.
So, once again, Commissioner Schaffner made a motion to request an additional traffic study from the applicant at the Oakhurst entrance of this parcel they're attempting to develop. Commissioner Taylor seconded. So at this time, we're going to take a vote from the Planning Commission on whether they approve or are for requesting that additional traffic study that the developer can or cannot comply to. Is everyone clear on what we're voting on there? Clear as mud.
Yeah, really.
Commissioners, signify that you agree to requesting an additional traffic study of the Oakhurst entrance to this sketch plan by saying aye.
Aye.
Right? Anyone opposed?
No.
Nay?
Nay.
Nay. So we
So
got,
the nays have it 3-2. Did I hear that correctly?
was it 3 nays?
Yeah,
Okay, you ayed or nay?
nay.
Okay, so we have 3 nays, 2 ayes, the nays have it. Now, commissioners, it's 2020. Are there any additional motions? At this time, we have the options to approve with conditions, or deny.
I would like to make a motion to either approve with conditions
No,
such
either.
as, well, to approve with conditions,
What are your conditions?
either get rid of them 17 lots and make them the same size as Oakhurst, don't develop them.
Sidewalks. Can you mention the sidewalks, please? 4-foot sidewalks?
And the 4-foot sidewalks. So that's my,
And I'm sorry, Marcus, can you repeat that again, please, so I can?
my motion would be to have them, either make the lots the same size as Oakhurst lots or not to develop them lots at all.
Okay, so your motion is to approve with the conditions of making the 17 lots the same size lots as Oakhurst. Same density.
Right, so with that, it wouldn't necessarily be 17 lots, would it? Because they don't have that much
That's-
land.
That's correct.
Okay, so they would, so I believe what Commissioner Taylor is asking is that parcel of land that is reserved for or that they're proposing 17 units at, for the developer to consider the consideration of developing those in the same R20 format that the 5 homes surrounding that are at, which would reduce that 17 home count and possibly allow them to build homes that are more on the 500,000 end of that number that they gave us earlier when they were discussing executive style homes. That is the motion on the floor. And 4-foot sidewalks.
Correct.
He's following parliamentary procedure by requesting a point of order, ma'am.
You have to come to the mic.
Yes, approach the mic. Mr. Perryman.
In my possession, I have a letter from the town of Blythewood when this group decided to change the zoning inside Oakhurst, that in no way would it hinder the development of these 40 acres. I have that letter. So to require it to go back to R20, which was probably illegal, but I didn't fuss about it. But I have that letter saying.
Pardon me, Mr. Perryman. So what we're doing is we're requesting commissions. We're requesting conditions. We're not trying to force anything either way. And with the relationship that you have with that community, I just wish that you would have talked to them a little bit more to have a better understanding of what they wanted before you started talking to the developers. We might not have been here so long tonight having this conversation. Thank you.
I just wanted you to.
Thank you, sir. You made your point.
Thank you, but I just wanted you to be aware of this legal letter.
Thank you, sir. You made your point.
Is there a second on the floor?
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. The motion on the floor is to approve the applicant's application with current sketch plan. However, the commission is requesting that the condition of R20 consideration be made where they plan to put 17 homes that match the aesthetics and the appeal of the existing Oakhurst community, and that where they develop whatever number has 4-foot sidewalks that match the rest of their proposed development as requested by town staff.
Throughout the 4-foot sidewalks throughout the entirety of the subdivision.
Right. That is the motion and the second. We're voting on that. So the vote is whether you're approving with conditions.
And a no vote is denying? Yes. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
So Marcus Taylor made the motion. Is there a second? And if so, then I will go call each one of you for a vote.
Mr.
Okay,
Tone,
I'm sorry.
second.
I'm sorry. Okay. Nikki Schaffner, yea or nay? Chairman Mosley?
I approve their application with the conditions as stated to match the aesthetic of the existing Oakhurst community with R20 consideration and 4-foot sidewalks throughout their community. Yay.
Marcus Taylor? Bill Tomes?
Nay.
Nay.
No, yeah.
Al McLaurin?
Nay.
Okay, so the vote is 3-2. It's approved with the conditions stated in the motion. And the applicant will obviously reach back out to me to discuss these. Obviously, the applicant also has a chance to appeal this as well.
Right.
It's 30 days. Is it? Understood.
All right. So now, we will open the floor once again for public comment. Public comments can be about the action item or other business in the town. The developer is still here. Mr. Dunlap? What's that? Hey, I try to take notes and pay attention to everything that everyone says so that I can have good recall, because what you say matters to me. I live here too. And I'm an Air Force veteran currently serving, so thank you, sir. Thank you. Absolutely.
Once again, my name is Leroy Dunlap. I live at 317 Oakhurst Place. I'm the old soldier with the old soldier in the yard. Now, I don't know if it makes any difference or not, but when I did my application for my home with Essex Home, we were given a big old book, big blue book, I believe it was, and it contained what the future bylaws would be and what the neighborhood was going to develop into. And part of that was sidewalks. And you were not to put anything within so many feet of the edge of the street. So we keep skipping over the sidewalks for Oakhurst. Additionally, we were supposed to have a swimming pool. Now, I got a big ditch in my backyard that's supposed to be the swimming pool, but I haven't seen nobody break ground on a swimming pool but my neighbor across the street. We were supposed to have the little meeting houses, you know, you have. Yes, sir. I ain't seen one yet, and I've been there 21 years.
I got it.
And I don't know where they were built. But, and I don't know if that comes into play.
Right.
But we keep talking about the other side of Oakhurst with all that stuff. But what happened to the side that he's responsible for or that he built?
Right. So I think what you're saying, Mr. Dunlap, is that sketches can look pretty on paper, but the developer's gonna do what they wanna do.
Ain't that what I said first time?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. They gonna tell us anything and do what they wanna do because they're in charge. We ain't in charge of nothing, but paying that, and that doesn't go to them, but we ain't in charge of nothing. We just there.
Right.
Thank you for your time.
Hey, thank you, sir.
I'm moving.
All right. Any more comments from the floor at this time before we make our final statements and adjourn? Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
So Loretta Lassane, 1 Cross Ridge Court. So I just had a question about the R20. You said consideration, so it's not really like a requirement, it's just a consideration. So how is that different?
Yes, ma'am. So we can't force them to do anything. We sit here as the voice of the residents, as residents of Blythewood, and provide the opportunity to try to plan the town forward with the residents in mind. So I cannot force the developer to do, I wish I could, make them look just like Oakhurst, so that the folks that are living there could, when they say that they live in Oakhurst, yet they don't live in Oakhurst, in the more expensive, spacious, non-gated part of this development that's been recommended, that has me completely confused. We can make that recommendation and say that their application meets the criteria for a developer to apply for a subdivision, but the conditions that we request are expressing the parts of it that we're in disagreement with. So typically when we do that, good developers come back to us with a revised sketch plan that looks more like what we're requesting. In this case, sidewalks need to be on the next sketch that we see, and you know, if there's still 17 houses there, the developer is letting us and the community know exactly where they stand. And, you know, it goes beyond the planning commission as well. We're just the gateway to decision-making in Blythewood, and ultimately you have councils and architectural boards and several other.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, if I can
Yes.
step in. So this action
Please.
will not go to council.
It will not?
It will not. This is the final.
Right.
Well, the one and only, I should say.
Got it.
And sorry, just to be clear for everybody out here. So there are things that the planning commission does recommend to town council,
Right.
but the approval of this sketch plan is not one of them.
Okay, so, right, so we approve with conditions.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
So does that mean that they have an opportunity within their time to present us with an additional sketch plan as previous developers have done?
Yes, we would hope so. I would welcome the applicants to contact me about the conditions put forth, and at a staff level, see if there is a willingness to meet those. Anything outside of that, I'm not comfortable speaking on this time. I would want Pete, the attorneys, to counsel me in that response.
I got you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir. And you are Mr. Miller?
Mr. Miller.
Nice with this.
Cross Ridge Road.
Yes.
I want to direct a question to you gentlemen and Jim. Now, I've known Jim since I moved in, 20 years.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, I even bought a piece of property from him. But you told me that these lots were going to be comparable to what we got just a week or two ago. My question to you directly, sirs, will you be, open to considering the R20 level lots for the proposed 17?
Yeah, I'm open to consider, but I'm going to consult with Kurt tomorrow.
Because at least, if, that's why I want to, I've heard all the conversation, but I want a direct question to you gentlemen and a response.
Considering, but we're also, I want to recognize that what we have proposed is our legal right to build.
All that's been understood since you first stood up here, but I'm asking you a separate question because everybody here, sitting here, other than Mr. Perryman, who's the seller, of course, and you gentlemen over the builders, but, our lives, our whole lives, we live there.
Right.
forever.
If you,
So, you know,
Miss-
that's what we just want to know if you would
right, right, the community feels as though their hands are tied. They feel that, you know, you have the ability to make a better choice than what's presented, but the faith that you'll do so is very low. So they're asking that before we adjourn, that you give them some level of assurance that you'll put the people before the dollar, because this is a well-established community in this town that does not want to feel infringed upon by a new development that would increase traffic in the area, increase the probability of safety incidents in their area for their families and their children, and reduce the property value or the aesthetic that they've worked so hard to build. That's what they're asking. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Scholl.
I just also asked, they give special consideration to 1015 Cross Ridge Road that's going to be surrounded by roads. She's going to have 3 roads around her house.
I'm sorry.
1015 Cross Ridge Road, I just asked that you give special consideration to that area. Ms. Spearman and her family will now be surrounded by 3 roads if you leave that plan.
Okay. At this time, if there are no further comments from the floor, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. We don't have to vote on that, do we?
Just let me hear an all in favor, please.
Yeah, all in favor of adjourning this meeting, and thank you, Oakhurst community. Aye.
Aye. Aye.